Welcome to my channel Starwire Daily. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. It's 1994, and a young, unknown Johnny Depp walks onto a movie set that would change everything. Not the glitzy Pirates of the Caribbean franchise that made him a household name. Not the dark, twisted worlds of Tim Burton that defined his career. But a quirky, offbeat film that most people have never even heard of, yet somehow became his highest-rated masterpiece on Rotten Tomatoes. What I'm about to reveal will completely shatter everything you think you know about Johnny Depp's filmography. Because while millions of fans worship Captain Jack Sparrow, the critics and cinephiles have been quietly celebrating a hidden gem that sits at the very top of his Rotten Tomatoes rankings. And trust me, you're probably not going to guess what it is. Welcome back to Starwire Daily, where we dive deep into the untold stories that shape Hollywood's biggest stars. I'm your host, and today we're peeling back the layers of one of the most surprising revelations in Johnny Depp's entire career. So grab your popcorn, because this journey is about to get wild. Let's rewind to the early 1990s. Johnny Depp was still that mysterious, brooding actor from 21 Jump Street, desperately trying to shed his teen heartthrob image and prove he could handle serious, artistic roles. Hollywood executives saw him as this pretty face who could sell magazines. But Johnny? He had much bigger dreams. He wanted to be taken seriously as an artist, not just another Hollywood pinup. And then came a script that would change everything. It wasn't your typical blockbuster material. No explosions, no romance subplot, no guaranteed box office success. Instead, it was the story of Ed Wood, arguably the worst filmmaker in Hollywood history. A man so passionate about making movies that he refused to let his complete lack of talent stop him from pursuing his dreams. Now, here's where it gets absolutely fascinating. When most actors were chasing the big franchises and mainstream appeal, Johnny Depp made a choice that seemed career suicide at the time. He decided to portray Ed Wood with such genuine affection and commitment that he transformed what could have been a cruel mockery into something beautiful. A love letter to the misfits and dreamers of Hollywood. But here's the kicker, and this is where your jaw is going to drop. Ed Wood didn't just become another quirky entry in Depp's filmography. It became his highest-rated film on Rotten Tomatoes. Not Pirates of the Caribbean. Not Edward Scissorhands. Not even Sweeney Todd. A black-and-white biographical film about Hollywood's most infamous failure became Johnny Depp's critical masterpiece. Think about that for a moment. In a career spanning decades, filled with massive blockbusters and Tim Burton collaborations that defined an entire generation's Gothic aesthetic, it was this small, intimate portrait of an outsider that earned him the highest critical acclaim. And honestly, it makes perfect sense when you really understand who Johnny Depp is as an artist. Because here's what most people don't realize about Johnny Depp. He's always been drawn to the misfits, the outcasts, the characters living on the fringes of society. Ed Wood wasn't just another role for him. It was a mirror reflecting his own journey as an artist who refused to conform to Hollywood's expectations. The preparation Depp put into this role was absolutely incredible. He didn't just study Ed Wood's films, though trust me, sitting through Plan 9 from Outer Space multiple times deserves some kind of medal. He immersed himself in Wood's world, understanding his relentless optimism despite repeated failures. He captured not just Wood's mannerisms, but his spirit, that beautiful, naive belief that the next film would be the masterpiece that finally proved everyone wrong. And you know what's heartbreaking and beautiful about this whole story? Ed Wood never lived to see his films become cult classics. He died in 1978, probably believing he was a failure. But Johnny Depp's portrayal ensured that Ed Wood would be remembered not as a joke, but as a symbol of artistic perseverance against all odds. The critics absolutely went wild for this performance. They saw something in Depp's Ed Wood that they hadn't seen in his previous roles. A maturity, a depth, a willingness to be vulnerable on screen without losing that magnetic charisma that made him star. The film earned a staggering 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, making it not just Depp's highest-rated film, but one of the best-reviewed biographical films of the 1990s. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. While Ed Wood was earning critical raves, it was also becoming something else entirely, a cult favorite. The kind of film that film students discover in college and then evangelize to everyone they meet. The kind of movie that gets quoted in coffee shops and debated in late-night discussions about what makes great art. And isn't that just perfect? A film about a cult filmmaker becomes a cult film itself. Edward would have absolutely loved that irony. He probably would have tried to make a sequel about it, complete with visible strings and cardboard tombstones. What makes Ed Wood even more remarkable is how it stands in contrast to the direction Depp's career would take in the following years. After Ed Wood, he would dive deep into his collaboration with Tim Burton, creating iconic characters like the Mad Hatter and Sweeney Todd. Then came the Pirates franchise, turning him into one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. But none of those massive successes, none of those box office triumphs, could top the critical achievement of Ed Wood. It's like Johnny Depp peaked artistically by playing a man who was considered the worst at his art. There's something beautifully poetic about that, don't you think? And here's what really gets me about this whole story. Ed Wood represents everything that's beautiful about taking risks in Hollywood. In an industry obsessed with guaranteed returns and focused group-tested content, both Johnny Depp and director Tim Burton chose to make a film about passion over profit, about artistic integrity over commercial success. The film's success also revealed something crucial about Johnny Depp as an actor. His greatest strength isn't his ability to disappear into fantastical characters, though he's certainly brilliant at that. His greatest strength is his ability to find the humanity in the most unlikely characters, to make us care about people we might otherwise dismiss or ridicule. When you watch Ed Wood today, knowing everything that would come after in Depp's career, the legal battles, the personal struggles, the public controversies, there's something almost prophetic about his portrayal of a man who refused to let the world's opinion stop him from creating. It's like Johnny Depp understood, even then, that artistic integrity might be the only thing that truly survives in Hollywood. And maybe that's why Ed Wood has endured as his highest-rated film. Because in an age of manufactured celebrity and calculated career moves, it represents something authentic. A moment when an actor chose to honor an artist's dream, no matter how impossible or ridiculous it seemed to everyone else. The cult following of Ed Wood has only grown stronger over the years. Film schools show it as an example of how to make a biographical film that's both respectful and honest. Critics continue to cite it as proof of Depp's range as a serious actor. And somewhere out there, aspiring filmmakers watch Ed Wood's unwavering optimism and think, maybe my crazy dream isn't so crazy, eh? So the next time someone asks about Johnny Depp's best film, and they expect you to say Pirates of the Caribbean or Edward Scissorhands, you can blow their mind with the truth. His highest-rated film on Rotten Tomatoes is a black-and-white love letter to Hollywood's most famous failure, and it's absolutely perfect that way. Because Ed Wood reminds us that sometimes the most beautiful art comes from embracing the imperfect, celebrating the outcasts, and refusing to let anyone else define what makes your dreams worth pursuing. And in a career full of memorable characters, that might be the most important message Johnny Depp ever brought to the screen. What do you think about this surprising revelation? Have you seen Ed Wood, or is it going straight to the top of your watch list? And more importantly, what do you think this says about how we measure success in Hollywood? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your perspectives on these deep dives into celebrity culture. If this story surprised you as much as it surprised me, smash that like button to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to StarWire Daily for more untold stories from Hollywood's biggest stars. Trust me, we're just getting started with the shocking revelations. Until next time, keep questioning everything you think you know about your favorite celebrities, because the truth is always more interesting than the headlines.